What's up, boys? Back out here working on the Mazda RX7 FD. We're gonna get ready for the single turbo. We're gonna take these twins off today. There's a lot going on over here. A lot of vacuum lines, a lot of actuators. Honestly, I've been out here doing stuff. I think I'm just gonna throw all that footage away because it's kind of useless. I adjusted these front coilovers. The Ohlins wheels were rubbing a little bit, so I just raised these up about a ½ inch because these were tucked and those were sitting flush. They needed to be moved anyways. And I did fill the rotors up with transmission fluid. I've filmed that before, I think like 3 other times. Just go look for like a video on how to start a rotary engine after it's been in storage or something along the lines of that. You just put transmission fluid in the spark plug holes. You take the spark plugs out. So like the best way for me to describe it is you know you got that rotor sitting in there and it turns. And you got those 2 spark plug holes over there, leading and trailing. You just want to fill it up with transmission fluid. Turn the rotor over slightly so it starts to suck that transmission fluid up and around, and then do that 3 times on each rotor, so 6 times total, and then just turn it by hand 1,000 times. Really, it's a 19 on this front. It's not really a crank, but it's a 19 bolt on this centric shaft. I don't know if you guys can see down there or not, but you see that spark plug hole with the red on it? You just turn it over until the transmission fluid starts coming out. There it is. And just keep doing that. Fill it up every time so you get tram fluid on each side of the rotor. But yeah, like I said, I've done videos on all that, so I think I'm just gonna throw all that footage out and start here taking these turbos off. I honestly don't know what kit to go with. I've kind of just been going back and forth because originally I was gonna go with like a turboloan, real nice flashy kit, and by the time you do all that and get everything, you have like 8 to 10 grand in a kit. And then I did find an old school HKS kit that is pretty sick. I think it'd be sick to have. It's all cast, so it's actually really ugly looking. It's all rusty and stuff, but I thought that would be cool. But then I found Rotary Works, which I kind of am leaning towards more because I think that's what more of like the average guy would do, is go with like a cheaper single turbo kit. For 1,500 bucks you get everything. You get a turbo, a manifold, a downpipe, wastegate, blow off valve, intercooler, all the piping, oil lines, coolant lines. You get everything you need to just hook a single turbo up to this thing. And like I said, I feel like that's what most people would do. And I've been looking, I haven't really seen anyone complain about it. Like, it seems like a pretty good kit for 1,500 bucks. The only thing that kind of is throwing me off a little bit is that the core, the intercooler core, is CX Racing, which you guys know that I've kind of had a problem with CX Racing before in the past. Just nothing ever fits right. It just ends up being a nightmare. It's never ending. I'm going to end up like just going out of control like I did with that thing. The VR4, if you don't know, this started off with me just doing upgraded turbos. And then I have a whole built engine, painted the engine bay, every nut, every bolt is brand new on this thing. Let's start taking this all off. Let's get these turbos out of here today, because they gotta come out regardless. Let's start with this intercooler. Gotta get this up out of my way. The intercooler piping is off of this car because I actually took this intercooler piping because it was brand new and gave it to the guy that bought the 95. Because when I got the 95 back, there was a boost leak. I just wanted to give him the good set. I didn't want to be the guy to sell a car with a boost leak, you know? So, yep, that's what we're gonna do. Just chase these bolts. You got a bolt and a nut right here. Put it all back so I don't lose it. Then that's up out of the way. You gotta get this duct work out of the way. And then mine, because people's messed with it before in the past, I only got 1 bolt holding my intercooler on down here at the bottom. I'm going to keep all this though. Again, I don't know which way is going to be the best way. I haven't really done enough research to figure out if a front mount intercooler is better or a V mount. If I go the 99 front end, I think I'll go with the front mount because you get a lot more bigger of a mouth up there. We're kind of just playing this one by ear, you know. Let's go ahead and get all these filters out of here. Go ahead and get this blow-off valve out. I'm gonna try to use this. This blow-off valve is the coolest blow-off valve I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, all these hoses are all new silicone. Like, you can definitely tell that this was rebuilt and deleted. I took this off for something I don't remember, but this has all been like deleted and the vacuum line rat nest thing cleaned up. Now, these hose clamps on this car are all so tight. And I had a radiator leak when I first got it too. It was all because they had double hose clamps on everything. which if you don't know, most of the time double hose clamp would just leak. But this thing sounds great. I actually might put this on the VR4. Here's my actuator. Maybe that's why it wasn't transitioning. I really don't know. If you've been here for a while, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get these turbos to kick on the second one. Maybe they had these lines hooked up backwards. So many vacuum lines, it's insane. These are good turbos. I just never was able to figure out why they were like only working as one. Because the actuators work and they're not welded shut. I don't know, we'll take them off. Maybe I'll sell them to one of you guys if I can figure out why they're not working right. Where's that go? I never unplugged that. That might be EGR or air pump. That whole air pump thing's deleted over here. Now you gotta take this whole mouth off because it's connected to these lines that I don't know where they go. Probably do just have one small vacuum leak somewhere, and that's why it's not transitioning to the second turbo. Yeah, and you can see that they've been in here for sure because they're all zip tied. Yeah, look, man, these are brand new turbos. I don't know what am I doing. Why am I doing this? I was really hoping to keep the downpipe on, but I think if I take it off, it's just gonna give me that little bit more room. I'm gonna take this downpipe off. I don't know if you guys can see it. These look like 12s right there. There should be 4 or 5 of them. Something's leaking over here on this turbo side, because that is all transmission fluid. This gasket's leaking. Oh, there's a crack in this manifold. All right, just gonna give you guys a little heads up on this bottom downpipe nut. It's a 14. But you can't use a box side, you can't get a socket on there, you gotta use the open end side, which means you can't do the 2-wrench method. So I used a crowfoot for like 20 minutes, just doing like a freaking hair of a turn at a time, and now I can get the open end on it. It's not fun, but just a heads up if you guys are wanting to do this, make sure you have a crow's foot. You know what, I think I'm going about this all wrong. I'll just be honest with you guys, I just realized that this whole charge pipe side will come off. And that'll give me the room to these upper downpipe bolts, which I can't get to this back one. But if I take this off, well, I should be able to. So I gotta get this inlet side off. The turbo in the back, it looks just like this one. I'll show you when I go up. There's the inlet for the rear turbo. I'll take this off, get that whole thing out of my way, and then I should be able to get this whole charge side off these turbos, which let me get to this top bolt on this downpipe. Well, at least there's a gasket on this one. There's no gasket on the front one. I'm taking off brand new turbos because I can't get the freaking transition from the first turbo to the second one. I wonder if these are B&R. All right, let's go back up top. Let me take this whole upper charge pipe off of these. I don't know why I thought this was all one until I just seen these nuts over here. Oh yeah, look how much easier that is now. Okay, downpipe is off. This is like a puzzle. I'm sure if I spent 5 minutes and Googled, it'd be a lot easier to figure out, but I'm not gonna do that. So here's the oil return line. I'm gonna take that off. There's no point in recording it. There's one up front. It seems like it's gonna be a nightmare to get to. Okay, I got this rear one off, but no gaskets anywhere. They're not stuck to anything. There's no gaskets anywhere for this oil return line, so that's probably my oil leak over here on this side for sure. I think he just had the block built at Defined, and then he put everything back together on the car, because I don't see Defined not putting gaskets on stuff. The shifter and stuff like that, there's been plenty of things like the front inlet didn't have a gasket, which I mean isn't the end of the world, but still. Okay, I'm actually gonna take this bottom actuator off. Just give me some more room. I got the vacuum lines off. I wasn't recording. I didn't notice those until I got down here. There's 2 more vacuum lines. But yeah, I'm gonna take this big actuator out of the way, and I should be able to get to that oil return line easier. I'm not gonna be able to record it, I don't think. It's just those bolts right there. I think that thing should fall out. Oh, and you gotta disconnect the actuator. It's just one of those C-clips. This car is such a jigsaw puzzle, it's ridiculous. So that actuator, you gotta get it disconnected from that C-clamp, then take those 2 10 mils out to move it back, what is that, 1/4 of an inch to be able to get to those 14s to drop this whole thing. That's how this whole car's been. I don't know what is up with me and choosing difficult cars to work on. I just went from the 3000 GT, one of the hardest cars to work on, to this, which might be harder. Why can't I just like go get a Camaro or something? I don't know why I do this to myself. All right, I don't know if I'm gonna need to, but I'm gonna go ahead and take these other two actuators off. Just those two C-clips, and then 2 bolts on this turbo, and that whole thing should fall down. Let's just make a coolant mess. I'm already up here. Pretty sure this is the return. I have no idea. Oh, this is oil feed. This is coolant feed. Where's the coolant returns? On the back? Coolant returns down here at the bottom. These have been heat soaked so much. All right, oil feed. Oil feed's off, coolant lines are off. I don't know how many of these I gotta take off. Obviously these 3, 1, you guys can't really see, but there's one there, and one up there. Then these 2, I think this one, and then these 2. I think these 2 can stay. Maybe not. Let's just start taking bolts off and see what happens. I don't know how much I'll be able to record down here. Oh shit, I gotta take off that oil return. I almost forgot about that. Alright, I got you guys on my head. I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but like, most of these broke loose, like way too easy. That one was hand tight. This thing was just like thrown back together real quick in a backyard or something. The guy like paid a bunch of money to have Divine do him a short block, and then probably paid some backyard mechanic to put the engine back in or something. I don't know the best way to do this. I got this one bolt down here and the whole thing's gonna fall. All right, all I got is this one stud in there holding this whole thing. Dude, this thing's gonna fall on its ass, and it's full of transmission fluid. All right, I think it's out. All right, I'll bring you guys back now that I'm making a coolant mess everywhere. Okay, I ended up just looping that coolant line together. There it is. Well, there's your twin turbo for your RX-7. There's an exhaust crack right there. Thing's pretty interesting. I'll probably take them all apart and go through them later on. At least it's out of there, boys. That's a wastegate, right? I don't know, this whole setup's kind of weird. I'm gonna have to do some research just to learn. Let's figure out how to get the rest of this off. This heat shield's only held on with this one bolt once you get everything off. Alright, well, this manifold's gotta come off. Maybe a quart of transmission fluid is just overdoing it. Look at that. I always put a quart in there, and I usually just run it, drive around the yard, use it as a mosquito killer. Okay, let's get this exhaust manifold off. Look, man, I'm sorry, because I know you watched some of my videos. If you built this yourself, I know Divine did the block, but if you reassembled this, I don't mean to talk shit, but everything's been like so like just thrown together. Like all these other 3 bolts just came off like hand tight. This one I've hit with an impact. I just broke a ratchet. I'm gonna try to use this breaker bar and a big ass pipe, I guess. I think it turned, or it's about to break. Please don't break off in this housing, it's aluminum. This should have never been this tight, dude. I really don't know who did it, but this is ridiculous. Oh man, at least it didn't break. I wonder if that's like heel coiled or something. Dude, that is insane that it was that tight on a piece of aluminum, dude. And all the other ones were just hand, like I could literally not even a quarter of a turn. Dude, I need to learn how this shit works. They're like both connected, kind of, but then you can like close the whole one side pretty much. I don't know. I'm gonna do some more research and learn about this. This is actually pretty cool how this is set up. Well, the twins are out of there. Look at all that room for activities. I didn't think there was gonna be that much room over here to put a single. I thought it was gonna be a tight fit, but there's just so much junk on those twins. This opens up this whole side. If you made this far, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Next video, we're gonna start working on fuel. I need injectors and a pump. I'll probably run all new lines because those ones back there are rusted. They're not rusted out, they're actually not that bad. I can't live with myself if I leave it. And I wanna get rid of all the rubber because I'll probably run E85 on here. We'll take this whole intake plenum off. Man, it's just never ending. I think I wanna go with intake runners so I can just get rid of all this EGR stuff over here and just have better flow. And then obviously we can delete all these boost solenoids and vacuum line, rat nest thing, just everything can go. And I think I am gonna go with the Rotary Works kit for 1,500 bucks, because I mean, even if I go with a better turbo, just the exhaust manifold and the intercooler core to me is worth 1,500 bucks. I started doing a little bit more research. The exhaust manifold is 11 gauge stainless steel. No one's had a problem with it. No one's had a problem with it cracking or anything like that. I'm gonna wrap it too. We wanna keep heat down as much as possible on this rotary. So even if I get that kit that says it's good for 500 and that turbo's junk and I upgrade to like a Garrett or an HKS or something cool, I still got my 1,500 bucks worth in my opinion. I mean, unless like Turbone wants to hook me up with one of their kits and I'll test the shit out of it and I can show why it's worth the price, you're really just paying for like nice TIG welded manifold that you can't see. I mean, maybe it's worth it. I just don't see it because their kit doesn't come with the intercooler, doesn't come with any of the piping. And what is it? It's over $4 grand. Like I said, by the time you're all said and done with putting their kit together, you're at like 10 grand. I think that $1,500 kit is gonna be worth it all day for what I'm doing. Like I said, I can swap out turbos. Pretty easy, it just sits right there. Man, it's never ending, boys. By the time I do all that, I want to pull the engine out, to paint the engine bay, get rid of all this ABS stuff. By the time I do all that, it's like, why not just street port it and rebuild the whole engine? But, alright, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. This is going to be a whole build, just like that car. That's the plan. Do a whole step-by-step on this. Everything's going to be changed on this car, probably. I'm really trying to convince myself to leave the short block alone. But I've been sitting here the past couple of days just looking up stuff, and I think I'm going to just go all out now. Like I said, I'm only looking for like 450, but I might as well have the injectors and pump so I'm not running into the same problem I ran with that one. Because I only put 800 cc's in that, and a 380 liter fuel pump, and I'm pretty much maxed out on fuel right now. Here we go. Just a can of worms I got to open up. But alright, that's the end of this one. See ya.